Just so you know, Cantor.
Thank Yeah, this is hold it, but this way, and then go that way.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shalom.
Enjoying winter, are we? I think it's getting colder every day. It's December after all. But it does make one really appreciate the warmth of this building and this place as we come together as one sacred community to celebrate Shabbat. We're going to begin on page 140 as we remind ourselves Tov lehodot l'Adonai, how good it is to give thanks, to be blessed, to feel ourselves grateful for all of the gifts that God gives us.
It's the third line, the third Hebrew line down.
Turn back a couple of pages as we turn to page 121. Source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter this sanctuary, this sacred space, both virtual and present. All who enter here in need, all who bring the offering of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love. On the facing page, we will begin the process of welcoming Shabbat by kindling the lights of Shabbat. Delighted to call upon Phyllis Richards for that honor.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushonu b'mitzvotav v'tzivonu v'ha'pnei shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushonu b'mitzvotav. seventh day, God finished the work that God had been doing, and God ceased on the seventh day from all the work that God had done. And God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy, because on it God ceased from all the work of creation that God had done.
Turn to the words of Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei beriah ha'olam. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho.
Thank you, and Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.
Please join us at page 138 as we sing our welcome to Shabbat with this ancient poem, Hyde. Shabbat now fully welcomed, let's welcome one another in the same way. Turn to those in your midst, introduce or reintroduce yourselves and wish one another Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat
Shalom this side.
Shabbat shalom on the dinner.
And let's turn together now to the prayer known as the Baruch, page 146, as we are called to worship together.
Ya la la la, ya la 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 la. Baruch Adonai, Baruch
Please join me on the top of page 149. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Amahariv Ha'olamim.
Come וקשרתם לאות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם, אמן.
Bottom of page 157, we read responsibly. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth.
The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love.
From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way.
Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces.
Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed.
Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace.
Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea. Those of you who joined us at the Interfaith Thanksgiving service, just the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, I know that we had a chance to sing these words of the Hashkilinu. This is a prayer that gives us a chance to ask for peace as we lie down at night. May we be led to peace, and may peace and shelter be what we achieve. Peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. And at that Thanksgiving service, Cantor introduced us to a musical version of these words, which we read aloud often. And so we wanted to bring that back and enable you to hear it sung and to feel it as we pray for that Sukkot Shalom, that tent of peace that could be over us and over all the world, with peace and with friendship. Prayer invites God's presence to suffuse our spirits, God's will to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, and rebuild a weakened will. So let us turn together to our prayers to strengthen one another and strengthen ourselves. We begin on page 164. I invite you to rise for Tikvah.
Adonai, Sefer Tikvah, Ufi Agite Vivatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Ha'adol Ha'gibor Ha'norah, Elohei Yaron, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'koneh Hakol, Ve'zocher Chaster V'Imahot, U'mevii Geulah Livneihem, Leman Shelo Ba'ama, Melech Ozer Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Ha'olam Adonai, V'chayei Hakol Atah Ve'Moshiach, Mashiach Ruach, Hashem. Mechaye Chaim Bechesed, Mechaye Hakol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Berofech Olim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Nichamocha B'Gevurot, Unidom Melach, Melech Memit, Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, Ve'eman Atah Achayot HaKol, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol. Atah Kadosh V'Shimcha Kadosh, U'Kedoshim B'Chol Yom Yamalucha Selah, Baruch Atah Adonai, HaEl HaKadosh.
Please be seated. On page 172 is a prayer for Shabbat. Please join me. Our God and God of our ancestors, be pleased with our rest. Sanctify us with your mitzvot, and grant us a share in your Torah. Satisfy us with your goodness, and gladden us with your salvation. Purify our hearts to serve you in truth. In your gracious love, Adonai, our God, grant as our heritage your holy Shabbat, that Israel, who sanctifies your name, may rest on it. Praise to you, Adonai, who sanctifies Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai, v'kadesh ha-Shabbat. And we turn once again to our prayer of gratitude, our prayer of thanksgiving, page 177. Before we read this together, just take a moment in the quiet to feel grateful. Think of something in this moment that you are grateful for, that brings you joy, that brings you satisfaction. And let's take all of that gratitude and read these words together. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth, which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, atov shimcha, u'lecha na'ed lehodot.
Shalom Rav, Yisrael Hashem. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Hashem. Kriyatav Melech Ador,
Don't stop after beating the swords into plowshares. Don't stop. Go on beating and make musical instruments out of them. Whoever wants to make war again will have to turn them into plowshares first. In these few moments of private prayer, let's focus on that word peace, shalom, or anything else that you find in your heart. We pray in silence. So William Shakespeare famously asked, "What's in a name?" Next week's Torah portion by Yishlach, we learn of the name that is most frequently associated with us as a people and as a faith, Yisrael, Israel. In next week's portion, you may remember this story. Jacob is about to meet his brother Esau, but the night before he does so, he has a little wrestling match. He wrestles with what the text calls an ish, a person perhaps, or an angel, or God, God's self. And as a result of this match, he's given a new name. His name, Jacob Yaakov, remains, but he's also given the name Yisrael, which can be parsed, the one who wrestles or struggles or questions God. And ever since, we have been Am Yisrael, the people of Israel, who practice our faith sometimes by struggling with the questions, by wrestling with God, and in doing so, remain linked to God. But that's next week's portion. This week, we're introduced actually to a different name for us. It's more subtle, but it's also more prevalent. In this week's portion, Parshat Vayetze, the two matriarchs, Leah and Rachel, give birth to sons who will eventually become the leaders of the 12 tribes of Israel. And Leah's fourth son, she calls Yehudah, which translates into, or is connected to the word Yehudim, which you may know also translates into Jew or Jews. Somewhere along the way, we, Am Yisrael, also became the Jews or the Yehudim. Now, I could try to sketch for you the history of how that happened, but the truth is we don't actually know all that much. We know a little bit. We know that at one point in Jewish history, the tribe of Yehudah, one of the 12 tribes, became the most dominant tribe. And thus, the word Yehudim eventually became associated with Jews of all kinds, from all of the different tribes. And then, sometime later in history, much later, after the diaspora, after we had scattered around the world, that name stuck and became prominent. But nobody knows entirely how that happened. It wasn't a straight line. But history aside, we have this name, Yehuda, in this week's portion. What does it mean? And what do we think this name might add to our understanding of what it means to be a Jew? So let me give you the background. If you don't know this week's portion by heart, no worries. Jacob has fled his home, and he comes to the home of his uncle Laban, and there he meets Rachel, and he falls in love with her. However, it is the case he asks for her hand in marriage, but his father-in-law-to-be knows that it is the case that the elder daughter needs to be married before the younger. And so, Laban, and maybe others, if you want to discuss that, tomorrow morning's Torah study is the right time to do it. Others perhaps trick Jacob into marrying Leah first, and then marrying Rachel. So Jacob ends that scene with these two wives. We know he loves Rachel, but we never know what Jacob really feels for Leah. We don't really get the sense that he has a whole lot of affection for her. I have to say, when I read these verses, my heart goes out to her. It can't be easy for her. I can imagine that as a young girl, she may have had fantasies about what it would be like to be married to the man of her dreams, and to fall in love, to have it be a mutual relationship, and to raise a family together. But that's not what she gets. Here she is, married to Jacob, but second fiddle to her younger sister. So Leah becomes pregnant. And she gives birth, and she names the first of her children to express her pain. First, she gives birth to Reuven, and she says, God saw my plight, now my husband will love me. Reuven from the word to see, so God saw my plight. And then a little while later, she's pregnant and gives birth again. This time she names her son Shimon, with the word Shema in there, you can hear it. God heard that I am despised, she said, and has given me this one too. And then she gets pregnant again, and this third child she names Levi, and says, now this time my husband will be attached to me, because Levi is connected to the word to attach. And she says, now this time my husband will be attached to me, for I have borne him 3 sons. 3 times Leah gives birth, and each time when she names her child, it's a wail of, wow, this is not the situation I expected to be in, and I wish it were different. I, this past week, had a chance to attend a rabbinic seminar where I heard Rabbi Ellen Lewis speak. She, in addition to being a rabbi, is also a counselor, a social worker, and a therapist. And she reminded us that all of us come to our work or to our lives with a fantasy, conscious or otherwise, of what those things will bring us. And then she said, we all meet reality, which is inevitably different from our dreams. No matter what, we can't be the same. And then she went on to tell us that the key to life is what we do in that moment, when our fantasy meets the reality. She said our ability to not just reconcile ourselves to that reality, but to adapt to it, to give thanks for it, and to find joy in what is, that, she said, is the key to life, the key to success, and what makes us great. I think Leah perhaps learned that lesson because she becomes pregnant again, and the fourth time she names her son Yehuda. Yehuda, from the verb lahodot, to give thanks, to proclaim, and to celebrate. And she says, this time I give thanks to God. We don't know what got her from the first three to this fourth moment, but it certainly seems like it's a change. And indeed, the Talmud, written many centuries later, says that Leah is the first of our ancestors to praise or thank God. Not Abraham, not Isaac, not Jacob, not Sarah, not Rebecca, but Leah. She's the one who introduces us to this idea of being grateful for what is, appreciating it, meeting reality with a smile, and being able to find the joy in it. So friends, we are Yisrael, the people who struggle and wrestle with God, and sometimes in that struggling and wrestling we kvetch, and we ask questions, and we lose faith. But we are also Yehudim, inheritors of the ability to say thank you to God and to meet reality with an awareness that there is goodness and there is joy within it, and it's our job to seek it. May we live up to our namesakes, both of them and all of them. Can you hear song? May it be so. So we are going to read a bit of Torah tonight, and we're going to read those verses when Leah gives the name to her fourth child. So I invite you to turn with us to page 364. And as you're able, please rise as we open the ark to remove the Torah.
Torah.
So indeed, we are going to be reading from Hyde. Cantor will be chanting for us Genesis chapter 29. Is that right? Verses?
Yes, 34 and 35.
Thank you. So here we actually have those, that prayer. It does move sometimes.
Oh, here it is.
That's great. Yes. So for the honor of the Aliyah, I'm delighted to call upon Larry and Gloria Constant. Yom Tov Rishon Aliyah Torah.
Baruch et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Vaed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Vatahar od, vateled bein, vatomer, atahapam, yilaveh ishi elai, ki yilad tablo shlosha banim, al ken kara shemo Levi. Vatahar od, vateled bein, vatomer hapa'am oda et Adonai, al ken kara shemo Yehuda, vata'amod viladat. She became pregnant again and bore a son. And now this time my husband will be joined to me, for I have borne him 3 sons. Therefore they called his name Levi, joining. She became pregnant again and bore a son, and said, this time I will give thanks to Adonai. Therefore she called his name Yehuda, giving thanks. Then she stopped giving birth.
For a little while. Yeah, but anyway.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei lo nata v'tutenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Thank you. Good job. Our Sefer Torah, our tree of life here in front of us, we think of those in our own lives, in our temple community, who are in need of our prayers for healing this evening. We turn our thoughts and our hearts to them and pray for their healing. We pray for Jamie Lippman Abish, Eileen Andacht, Ellen Bassick, Benjamin Menachem Frank, Carolyn Barone, Jane Bernstein, Arnold Locke, Dennis Brenner, Jack Kazis, Nora Correa, Toby Domash, Susan Zietzik, Janet Ewing, Kelly Fink, Arthur Fisher, Judy Fisher, Michelle Fisk, Evan Foster, Barbara Goldberg, Sandra Goldberg, Florence Goldring, Stephen Goldstein, Jean Gormley, Elise Grace, Lee Hawley, Marilyn Heckler, Enid Hirsch, Eldon Hong, Matthew A. Hood, Dacia Horowitz, Phyllis Horn, Stephen Israel, Toby Israel, Christine Jacobson, Danette Jamal, Roberta Kahn, Louis Kaufman, Rita Kimmel, Tatiana Koltunya, Esther Krachevsky, Sandy Lay, Gail Levy, Paul Lipson, Aidan Moletsky, Robert Mandel, Robert Mannix, Barbara Massey, Susan Millen, Ashley Moranti, Adam Moranti, Michal Zahava Bat Miriam, Miriam Shulamit Bat Bela, Patrice Newman, Nora Tzipora Bat Delana, Andrew O'Donnell, Sophia Palladino, Esther Parker, Gerlinda Pescatore, Helga Pfeffer, Ben Pilch, Rabbi Lester Blonsky, Dean Powell, Carol Ryder, Julie Rosenberg, Laura Rosenspan, Renee Rosenthal, Janie Rudick, Sylvie Rubel, Adele Schomer, Anna Rachel Bat Miriam, Charlotte Miriam Schnapp, Claire Shapiro, Jeffrey Schoenholtz, Marjorie Schoenholtz, Edmund Steiner, Faye Strobel, Rhoda Strobel, Tova Bat Shifra, Arlene Iris Wisson, Jeff Young, and Shirley Young. And if there are others whose names you'd like to share with us, for whom you'd like us to pray, please just lift your hand to Cheryl.
Gloria Conrad, Cheryl Gilman.
Thank you. Gloria?
Esther Owner, Harvey Mormon, Daniel Tancredi, and Elaine Lynch.
Thank you. Thank you. Daniela?
Matthew Prince, Robert Prince.
Thank you. Vivian?
Sandy Friedman, Carol Pollack, Mary Lou Owen, Molly Rubin, and Michael.
Thank you. Thank you. And on this side. Please. Holy One, a blessing be with those whose names we've shared out loud and those we hold in our hearts and bring them each to healing. Baruch atah Adonai Rofeach Olim. Praised are you, Eternal One, the source from whence healing flows. Going to lift and dress the Torah, and we're turning to the ark and turn to our concluding prayers. So to lift the Torah, delighted to call up Vivian. Is there somebody who'd like to come help us dress the Torah? If not, we can do it, but it's an honor. All right. Please rise as the Torah is lifted.
Israel,
Remain standing as we turn to page 586.
Alleluia, Shabbat, take to life celebration. Shalom, Son,
Be seated. Page 595, the words of Hannah Senish. There are stars up above so far away, we only see their light long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. The stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways that we remember. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. And speaking of those we have drawn into our hearts with our own, we learned this week that our own Long Islander, Omer Nutra, who had been one of the hostages held by Hamas, actually perished on October 7th, and his remains were finally identified this week. And so this week, his family held a service for him and began Shiva. I didn't know him myself, but Omer Nutra was a Long Island boy. He went to the Schechter schools. He delayed his attendance at Binghamton University to enlist in the Israeli army. And I know of a lot of people who knew him. One degree of separation, if that. So although he's not our own member of our community, our temple community, or our family member, he is one of our own. And we grieve as part of that extended family this week. And this week as well, we turn to our own beloved, those whom we know, and mark their yahrzeits, and with love, lovingly recall each of them. With love, we remember Morris Cantos, the brother of Esther Krzyzewski, Wilma Cohen, mother of Michelle Gold, Carol LeClaire, cousin of Ronald Schreiber, Jerome Lepselter, the father of Ira Lepselter, Sam Mostel, the stepfather of Carol Ryder, Stan Orbach, brother-in-law of Ronald and Barbara Schreiber, Burton Shaw, husband of Susan Shaw, beloved temple member, Dr. Irving Silverman and Doris Silverman, parents of David and Evan and Jennifer, a beloved temple member. Charles Stern, husband of Monique Stern of blessed memory, and Murray Sumpkin, the father of Mona Lupo. If anybody else is remembering someone whose name you'd like to share with us, now is the opportunity to do so. Yes, go ahead, Michael. Go ahead.
James Black.
Thank you. Thank you. Others? Zichronam livracha. May our beloved, may the righteous everywhere always be in our hearts and shine brightly in our minds. Let us turn together to page 598. Let us rise as one community now as we remember them all with love with these sacred words. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba, v'yamad tivrach yerutei v'yamliv malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon, v'chayei chol beit Yisrael, v'agalav b'zman kariv yimru amen. Yehei shemei Rabba mevarach le'olam lamei alaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpalar v'yitramah v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei t'kusha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechamata. Ta'mira v'yalma v'yimru amen. Yehei shalom ha'rab min shamaya. V'chayim aleinu v'yakol Yisrael. V'yimru amen. Osei shalom yibromav. Yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom yibromav, Yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'yimru. Please be seated. Before we conclude, we do have some announcements. I'm delighted to invite up our beam officer, Vivian Flock, for those announcements.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Thank you, Rabbi Cantor and Yuri, for a very beautiful service. In the coming week, we have Torah study both in person and via Zoom, beginning at 9:15 tomorrow morning. Choir rehearsal on the mark and cardio, core, and more will meet at the regular times during the week. On Sunday, December 8th at 12 p.m., our very own Catherine Kitt will lead a session of karaoke and other musical games with the students immediately after religious school. Also on Sunday, December 8th at 10 a.m., Brotherhood will be hosting a urology health seminar with Dr. Gary Goldberg. The semi-annual congregational meeting will also take place on Sunday, December 8th at 7 p.m. Please make sure to send in your proxy with the appropriate information in the weekly update. On Friday, December 13th, will be our family Shabbat dinner, followed by the service led by our 5th and 6th graders. Save the date for a night of fun and laughter with the Bible players on Saturday, December 14th at 7:30 p.m. And on Sunday, December 15th, will be the Religious School Hanukkah Family Program. Brotherhood will again be frying latkes for the religious school students, and there'll be a Tot Hanukkah program on Sunday at 10 a.m. So as always, please check the weekly update for additional information and, if appropriate, virtual links for all the events and RSV information for various events, and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Thank you. So just a couple of other things to add. I'm also leading a discussion tomorrow morning after Torah study Directed at parents, but really for anybody who wants to talk about the rising anti-Semitism and how to parent in this time. We're going to just open the floor and have that discussion, and that's at 11:30. And also, it's a little further down the pike, but not that far to Hanukkah. Right? I've been watching that moon in the sky get bigger, and it's the moon of Kislev this month of Hanukkah. So the beautiful menorah that is owned by the Lakeville Estates Civic Association that we have usually participated in lighting on Hillside Avenue, that property is no longer available, so we are going to have the honor of having that menorah on our front lawn. And there will be a note that goes out if anybody wants to participate in the mitzvah of lighting it on any one of the 8 nights. And bring your family and friends and pets and whoever else can do that. We will, as a temple community, light it on the Friday night, the Shabbat of Hanukkah, with special singing and hot cocoa and a little dinner and some festivities. So if you're in town, yes, it's Christmas week as well, so that means a lot of people have travel plans, but if you're in town, plan to join us. Great. With that, I think we turn to our closing song. Page 625, the ever popular
French Sephardic.
Donna.
Very good.